everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today you can see that I'm with a pretty face. Yes, she's my mom, and well, I won't say anything about her. She will be the one to introduce herself. So, because we'll be celebrating Mother's Day very soon, I'm here with my mom. So, mom, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I am Victoria Akínpẹ̀lú. I am a public health officer with Federal Ministry of Health. Thank you.
Thank you. So before this time, I sent messages to people to ask questions on motherhood or anything related, and I got some questions. And I'm saying thank you to everyone who sent in questions. So I have I have some questions here too, and she'll be answering those questions for us. Okay, so before we start, I would love to ask her what motherhood implies.
Wow, that is quite deep because when we talk about motherhood, it is not everyone who necessarily go through pregnancy, let me say, that are mothers alone. We have several people who are not biologically mother, but they are mothers. They can be described as mothers. Do you get it?
Yes. That's a story for another day. It's as if the answer is kind of deep, but because we are answering questions today, we won't be able to go deep. So the first question is, what are the things we need to consider before we say yes to the man of our dreams?
Wow. I think there are some pertinent questions you have to you have to answer from within you before you can say yes to the man of your dream. And when I say you, I am not referring to you alone, Mabel.
Okay.
There are thousands of people out there, ladies out there, that can be referred to as you. So it is you plus them. Now, I am talking about pertinent questions. First and foremost, you have to ask yourself, am I ready for this journey? Because there are times you may think you are ready and you may actually not be ready. First, emotionally. If you don't have the emotional what it takes, to go into a journey with a man of your dream, there may be problems. There may be potholes ahead. There may be, or let me rather say, there are potholes ahead. But if you are not emotionally ready, you may not know how to jump those hurdles or handle those challenges. So first, you have to ask yourself, am I really ready for this journey? And then secondly, timing. Is the timing right? Are you of age enough? Are you old enough to go into the journey? For example, I am going to cite an example of one of my children, Jide to be precise. When he was in just what is it called? Kindergarten 2, KG2.
Okay.
Yes. He liked to ask questions. So one of the questions he asked me at a point in time was, Mommy, when am I going to finish school? I said, you are not even started. So how can you finish what you have not started? He said, no, I have started. I'm in KG2. I said, I know. You are just in the second step of about 20 steps of your academics. So you have not actually started. And the second question he will be asking me was, Mommy, when am I going to get married? I said, this, as young as you are, I laughed myself out that day.
Yeah.
So I couldn't eventually give him, the right answer.
Okay.
But now I have learned better. Because motherhood entails you having the Boy Scout motto at the back of your mind at all times. And what is the motto?
Okay.
Be prepared. You have to be prepared for several questions that may come from your words. So before saying yes to the man of your dream, the second question you have to ask yourself is, am I ripe enough for this journey? Is the timing right for me? So the third question you are going to ask and answer,
Yes,
you know, from within yourself is, am I not being pressured?
Mm.
And who are the people that can pressure you? Your friends,
Friends.
your family, your siblings,
Mm.
you know, your immediate family.
Mm.
You understand? Those are the kind of people that can pressure you. Maybe you are of age, you have this, you have that. You are ripe enough to get married. But if you are not actually prepared, you understand yourself, because you are the one going into it.
Yes.
So you need to ask yourself, am I not being pressured by people that are around me? That is the third one. And then the fourth one, and we are not limited to these questions anyway, before saying yes to a man of our dream. The last, you know, from me for now is, am I not doing this to please the man? Do you get it?
Yes.
You know, a man, you know, men can be funny at times. When they want something, they want to go all out to get it. You understand?
Yes.
They want to go all out to get it. And then he may be considering his age. That is number one. So he wants to get you by all means. He may be considering the fact that he doesn't want somebody else to take you. So he wants to pressure you. He wants to make haste to getting you, to having you to say yes. So you have to ask yourself, am I not pleasing him? I hope I have answered you.
Good. Your answers are wow. Like your points are wow. I really enjoyed them too. Thank you, Master. Yeah, so the next question is, what were your expectations before getting married?
If you ask any woman what her expectations are before getting married, she will give you a trailer load. But for me, you know, like every other woman, when you are getting married or you are going to marriage with a man, you are filled with the expectation of him, you know, financing all, you know, of your needs. So I had that expectation too, that my man should be able to provide for at least 90% of my needs. You understand? And then secondly, I was filled with, you know, the expectation of having me as the only friend he has, and then vice versa. And then another thing is, you know, romance and affection for life from the beginning to the end. You know, every woman wants that, and I equally, I am not an exception. So I wanted, you know, to have that flame of romance all through. And then I desire that we will spiritually grow together until our old age. And of course, kids.
Sure.
Every woman wants kids when, you know, going into marriage. I want to have them, male and female, beautiful children, brilliant children, you know, children that people can point at and say, yes, these are gifted children. I was filled with that expectation. And then, at the back of my mind, I want us, you know, to have a periodic vacation from Italy to Rome, to Canada to US, to you know, places, you know, like that. But I care to tell you, my dear, that there are times these expectations are shattered because of challenges, sicknesses, death, the eventual. And like in my own case, he left us about 5 years ago, you know, shattering most of this expectation I have. But life must continue. Because of yourself, because of your children, because of one's friends and family, and then because of, you know, people who actually depend on you, who believe in you. So life must go on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Like, already becoming emotional.
Don't be. If I am not, you shouldn't.
Ah,
Yes.
okay, we thank God. Then, All right, we are moving to the next question. So, as a career woman, what does it take to balance career with motherhood? Because I do see you every morning. You wake up 5 a.m. and that time I just like that's when my own sleeping this thing just begin, and I'll just be like, God. And then you come back around 7 p.m. after 7, and I'll just be like, God. Hey, so how do you balance both?
Well, like you said, I must confess to you that sleep is mostly sweet around
Very,
5
very
a.m.
sweet.
between 5 a.m. and 7. But as a career person, you have to do what you have to do.
Hmm.
First and foremost, if you have made up your mind as a woman, as a lady, to go into a certain profession or career, respect that decision.
Hmm.
Know that you are doing the right thing. So, in other words, follow your mind.
Hmm.
So, lay it on the table first that what I am about going into, what I'm about doing is legit.
Hmm.
So, respect, honor that decision.
Hmm.
So that eventually, when challenges or criticism comes from any angle, you will know it is your decision and God's permission. I hope you are good with me. So, and then the second one is be present. If you are at work, be 100% present. If you are at home with your children and husband, be 100% present. So you must learn how to switch from work mode and mommy mode and wife mode. Do you get it? So you must learn it. That is why when somebody said God did an extra time on women, I think I believe it. Because there are some, most of the time, our men are not multitasking. They don't know how to handle multitask. But God has endowed us women with such ability. So the third thing you must do is to take care of yourself. There's this saying that you cannot give what you don't have. When you don't have peace, you can't give it. If you don't have love, you can't give it. If you don't have happiness, you cannot give it. And both your children, your husband, your clients at work needs all I have itemized. Love, care, happiness, joy, good advice. You understand? So you must have it. So you must be sane at all time. And if you do not take care of yourself, tell me how you can have your sanity. So you have to take care of yourself physically, spiritually, vocationally. Because if you don't take care of yourself vocationally, how then do you meet your clients' needs? So you have to take care of yourself very well. And then finally, and not limited to these points, is you cannot leave the God factor out of it. You must pray for yourself, pray for your children, pray for your husband, your home, your family at large. You must pray. You must always pray without ceasing. You don't have any choice, no matter what. When you are living in the morning, as a matter of fact, you should get to a point where prayer will become a part of you, such that you'll be praying in your sleep. You understand? So that is when you know that prayer has become part of you. You must even pray in your sleep. So a woman should learn how to pray without ceasing, because honestly, if we leave the God factor out of it, our chances are limited. We can't go far. So balancing career and motherhood, entails those 4, but not limited to those points. You must take care of yourself. You must not leave the God factor out of it. You must be present at home, at work. And then you must respect your decision as a career woman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next question is, does being a mom hinders one from achieving one's goal? I could remember talking to you last week when I was like, maybe I'll settle in the next 6 years. And I remembered you asking me why. I said, because once I settle, I won't have time to go after my dreams. Then being a mom takes a whole lot. It will take my time to do this, it will do that. So, what can you say about that?
Well, my answer will be simply no. It doesn't hinder you. And thank you for reminding me of our conversation last week. Our timing is with God. We don't own our time. We will be planning towards tomorrow, next week, next year, next 10 years or 20 years, and on like that. But what God says, your time is up, come home. Because we must always have that at the back of our mind. And like I said the other time, being prepared is not limited to motherhood alone. You understand? So our timing is with God, like I said. If we are planning towards, achieving our goals, like I said, we cannot overemphasize the place of prayer and God. So we'll be committing it to God. God, this is what I want. This is what I have achieved so far. This is where I am going. Are you getting it? So in other words, we must have short-term goals. We must have long-term goals. Because if you say, mommy, by next year, I want to own a car. It may be possible with God. I am not doubting that fact. But if we look at our status for now, you may not be able to actualize it.
Yes.
You understand? But by praying and then committing it unto God, not putting a square peg in a round hole. So if you have short-term goals and you follow it suit, you will achieve it. Your long-term goal, you have listed it, you have itemized it, you will still get there. But you have to give it time and God.
So that God factor.
You can't leave it out.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, which role is easier, being a dad or a mom?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I have tried both roles. Like I said the other time, first, I was a wife, I am a mother, and now I have transited to being a widow. So taking up the dad role. And I must confess to you, it is not easy. Because there are some things a man will be able to handle better, with kids. But honestly, since primarily that motherhood is what God has called me into, I think I am good to go with that. I think I prefer being a mom to being a dad.
Thank you, Ma. So another question says, what are those fears of becoming a mom?
Wow. I have gone through that lane before. When you get married and eventually you become pregnant, it will be visible to everybody.
Yes.
And people are filled with expectation of how you are going to handle that role. The fear that will come into you first and foremost is, will I be able to meet with that expectation, of being a mother and at the same time still maintaining that role of a wife. And remember, career is still there and all that. So the first thing that will come to you is, will I be able to meet up with that expectation? Will I be able to love my child or children, as the case may be? They may be twins or triplets. You still have them within you, so you don't know which is coming. So the fear will be, will I be able to love them the way I ought to, the way God expects me, the way my own parents loved me? Will I be able to pass it on to my children? And will I be able to guide them aright, in the terms of God? And then not forgetting our family, the extended I mean. There are some things that are operational in one family that are not in understand. So will I be able to meet with all of those expectations? That fear will be there. And then during labor, will I not kill my own child? It is there. Will I not kill my? We have had of cases of women, As a matter of fact, not even hearing. I used to have a friend. She's still alive. I'm still alive too, but we are, we live in different parts of the country, so we don't see ourselves as often as we used to. I won't dwell too much on that because I wouldn't want to sell her out, sort of.
Okay.
During labor, we were battling with her, giving birth to the child alive. She wasn't cooperating. She said the pain was too much. She couldn't go through it. But here we are. 9 months is complete. The baby has to come. Because the baby is an entity, herself, because it's a female child. So we're battling with that. So that fear will always be there in pregnancy. That will I be able to give birth to this child successfully? You understand? Will I be able to cooperate with the child, to bring in the child, into the world? It's a big challenge. And then after the baby has been born, will I be able to love him or her the way I ought to? So there are several. Then the area of finance, will I be able to provide for my own child if the husband doesn't have? If he does not have, remember what the Bible says, that he who does not, but people misquote that scripture. They say he who cannot. But it is he who does not. That is, he have, but he is not willing to part with. But he who does not. So what if the husband does not sincerely? You can't ask him to bring what he doesn't have. You understand? So you will have to fill in the gap. Any mother, that watch her children going hungry without her doing something about it is a failed mother. So that fear will always be there. Will I be able to take care of my, child or children in case their dad doesn't have, in case he doesn't live with us, in case he is late? Am I not supposed to fill in that gap? So the fear is always there, even before the children start coming, and when eventually they are around.
Thank you, Ma. Yeah, so the next question says, what can you say about postpartum? The symptoms, everything that concerns it.
Okay. Postpartum varies with individuals. It can be from mild to severe. So it's not actually everybody that goes through it, for a long time. And it can be depressing. If anyone goes through it, it can be depressing. And the symptoms are, number one, insomnia. And insomnia means
sleepless night.
Yes, sleepless night, having loss of sleep. And then anorexia is another point, which is inability to eat. You get it? And then hair loss is part of it. And then intense irritability. A lot of women go through that. If people are not going through other symptoms, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about between 90 and 95% of women goes through one level of irritability or the other. And then difficulty bonding with the baby. We have, some women that goes through that. Although it is not all, but some number of women. Almost everybody like myself, I go through insomnia, I go through anorexia, I go through irritability, but mine is not intense. At least for few days, few hours in a day, I go through it. But for some individual, it goes in through weeks. They will be irritable for like 2-3 months before they can come back. And then there's what are Yoruba people, I wouldn't know what it is being called in other languages, but there's what they call abisiwin, is a kind of postpartum depression. You know, in some it runs in some family, and then some are medical. In a situation whereby the woman will just lose it after giving birth. She will lose it, she will go haywire, and then she may land in a psychiatric home. Some last for 2 days, some weeks, some few hours, and some, if care is not taken, may last forever. So that is why I say it varies with individual. Some might be mild, some might be severe. I think we should leave it at that because we are not in science class.
Okay. We don't know if you have any solution.
Yes. Since it varies, with individuals, like I said some are mild while some are severe. Some with appetite, it can be, put back to place, can be corrected. And some, if it's severe, then we'll have to, visit a doctor, whereby some degree of examination will be carried out, and then treatment.
Thank you, ma. Yeah, so the final question says, what has been the hardest period of motherhood for you, and how did you deal with it?
Wow. Thank God you are making that the last, because it's actually challenging. I said we talked about switching from wife mode to work mode, then to mommy mode. It's easier said than done, actually, because it can be challenging. There got to be a time in my life when I was trying to switch from those modes and all that. I was almost losing it. I became really tired. As a matter of fact, recently I was thinking, when is Yemi going to write his WAEC and I will be finally free from waking up too early. It can be challenging. It's easier said than done. So those periods, I became really, really tired. And then the second thing is, I have all boys. It got to a time you will have to battle with, giving them 1 naira and they taking extra 1 naira, and then you asking upon my prayers, upon my advices, upon my scolding you, why would you do that? But I had to go back to the drawing board. And what is that? It is going back to my Creator, going back to my Father, going back to God in prayer. You can't do this all alone. There is no mature woman with motherhood. There is no professor with motherhood. Without God, the person is nothing, absolutely nothing. So I had to go back to God and beg Him and pray to Him. Change these children for good. Let them become what you want them to be. Give me the strength to carry on, so that I can be a happy mother. You understand? So you cannot overemphasize, like I said the other time, the place of God and the place of prayer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. We really enjoyed your answers. In fact, I am blessed beyond words, and I'm sure you guys are blessed too. Yeah. Thank you all for joining me on this episode, and we are saying Happy Mother's Day to all moms out there. Keep being the good mother, keep being the light to the world, keep training your children, and we promise you that we'll be the best human you've prayed to God to raise in Jesus' name. Thank you for joining us on this episode.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah, we hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.